Hello, adventurers. Here we are with creating the mega dungeon for Shadowdark, Halls of the Idiot God. Hi there, I'm Andy from Twisted Narrative, and this is part 3 now. As you can see, we've been working on this is level 6, area 1, numbered map. So this is my initial idea of the first section of the dungeon. For a very quick recap, we have decided we call up the story. The starting point is going to be the introductions. The characters have been lured to the halls and start off in the deepest part of the dungeon. They need to escape, make their way out of the halls of the idiot god. They've been drunked, unaware of the other characters, so they're going to awaken in darkness. They're going to need to introduce themselves. They're not going to have any equipment as such, so they're going to have to locate that. They need to salvage as many things as possible to try and break out. It's pitch black. There is the smell of rot and damp, and what we really want is, because we have expanded this, strange sort of chemical smell, flagstones, old algae, and also strange smooth kind of resin. Chitin, I think we're going to use chitin like substance. Okay, so this is where the players are going to sort of start out. They're going to start out in this area here, area 1. It's going to be dark. We have created a creature that inhabits this area as well. The servitors of the idiot god, the larvae, form the lowest form. And the rationalization for all of this is that they are using the sanity, the minds of crawlers that they have captured, that they have lured into the halls, to feed and nurture the idiot god, to basically awaken them. Of course, the adventurers might well be unaware of such things at the moment. So, number 1 is where they are going to wake up, and we're going to put a few more bits of information here in as well as introducing themselves. They need to band together to escape. They need to find some kind of light source, find light. And the way that we're going to do this is we're going to give each crawler a small item that they can combine together to make sort of dim light, so they can kind of at least get an idea of their surroundings. It'll be very mean to have them in complete darkness. It'll also is kind of mechanically a very challenging thing to do, to sort of move them around when none of them can see anything at all in the complete pitch black. So as a GM, I kind of want them to get a little bit of light, and I'm sure the players will as well. So this can be gained by combining a resource. Don't worry too much, there is no spell checker on this resource. resource. Um, so I'm going to give each character maybe a little bit of flint, and maybe a bit of steel, and maybe they'll have some rags upon them so they can get like a little spark going to create a sort of dimmer light. Um, um, so um, okay, now they can make makeshift uh, old bone. So they can flink. That's a good name for a creature. The flint, steel, rags. I tend to just throw my thoughts down and then go through them, tidy them up. So that's kind of after introducing themselves, or even before the desperation of getting this thing lit. Now, because there is a strange chemical smell which is coming from the acidic vomit of the servitors, again, I kind of like to make things a little strange. So we can say the flame uh, burns with a purple light. Just again, a little bit of colour, a little bit of detail. So once they've introduced themselves, once they've found the light, they next need to put their mind to escape. All of this happening in the same chamber. So there is a good chance with character introductions, with them combining resources, trying to work out where they are, how they got here. This encounter area could well take 30 minutes, maybe even longer, with some in-depth role playing. So escape. The bars that I've kind of put around here, they're not metal bars. I kind of want it to feel alien, and what they are spurs of razor, because why not, sharp chitin. So the servitors have secreted this, and they have made these bars. Difficult to sort of smash or cut your way through. We now need to think of a creative way that the characters can get out of here. They can, of course, call to the servitors and try and trick their way out. They can maybe use the bones in here to create a makeshift tool, as in a crowbar, question mark, to gain leverage. Or indeed they could use magic if they've got appropriate magic. So they need to be clever. They need to work a way of sort of breaking out of here. There's no one answer. We don't like to railroad them. I mean, find light could be as easily as magic as well. If if one of them has the light spell and they manage to successfully sort of cast it. So once they fashion their escape from here, they can start exploring this level sort of proper. Okay, so what I wanted to do is I didn't want to complicate things, so area 2, of which there are 2 areas, these cells are empty, but certainly bones and sort of fragments of chitin can be found. We're going to come on to the chitin as an item in a minute. Let us make a little note here. Chitin. Question mark, and we'll put outstanding things to do. So this is a reminder that we need chitin as an item. So they can fashion potentially weapons out of it or armor. So we need to do this. Bones, fragments of chitin, etc., can be utilized in this kind of survival thing. I do like the idea, though, in one of the cells. Warning can be found. We don't know what that warning is yet, so it is scratched into the wall. So we can put down here in outstanding things to do, what is the warning? So again, doing ideas, we don't need to flesh them out, just as long as we've kind of got that. And then in 3, if we kind of move this out of the way, 3 is this final cell here. We want a insane prisoner. Okay, so at the moment we've got this lower area. We've got starting area for the characters, 2 empty ones, but one of them's got a warning in. Various bones and chitin and rags can be found. Insane prisoner over here. Will they rescue? So we also want to flesh this out, because I do like everything not just to be, oh, it's a mad, ignore it. You can flesh that out as an NPC. Whether they want to try and rescue him, silence him, use him as a distraction. a number of potential things that they might think about these characters. Okay, so that is number 3. Again, we're doing bullet points at the moment. We can flesh it out as we go along. Number 4, which is this corridor here now, we need some kind of trap or hazard, but I think a hazard is perhaps best for this. What I'm thinking of is that these servitors, these horrible kind of upright maggoty things on little kind of cilia, with these circular lamprey-like maws in their chests, surrounded by fleshy little fingers. They secrete like slugs this slime trail that hardens as this chitin resin, and it solidifies over time. But when it's not fully solidified, it can sort of snap, break away, crumble. So I quite like the idea of part of this floor to be not fully set. If too much weight is put on it, a character will fall into a small acid filled gully. So these things kind of vomit this acid, so the whole place should have some of this kind of acidic. The floor is covered in chitin, and if they observe this, they can move around the softer parts. If they don't, moving forward, it can give way, and they can fall into this small gully, which could be devastating. It'll be the same as the spit, so 1d4 acid damage. Okay. And then 5 is kind of where the larva hang out. So we call this the servitor larvae. I don't know. And I've kind of made it an irregular shaped room because, again, drawing huge amounts of inspiration from the movie Alien and Aliens, I kind of want the whole of this room to be coated with chitin. And amongst the joins of the chitin are small tubules. And when the characters enter this chamber with light, the reason why that all of their shenanigans down in the cells haven't caused any issues is because the larvae servitors, they kind of rest in these chitin sort of cocoon tubules. All of these words are useful because it really spend a bit of time choosing the right words to give flavour, but these cocoon tubules, and they ooze out to deal with the escaped characters. So the servitor. So that is what is occurring there. So it's kind of this horrific sort of large chamber that they can hear sort of slurping noises coming from the wall and the ceiling and the floor, and they can ooze out. And I kind of like this to be kind of almost sort of a horror whack-a-mole. Uh, so there's a large coming out, but if they are fast, they can start doing the larvae damage before they emerge. But there are sort of numerous ones, so this really will be kind of a little bit of a logistical challenge. They can try and flee from this chamber, but they don't necessarily know where to go. And it would be best to deal with this kind of threat, especially as if they go across to room number 6 here, which is this cutout of the rock. Piled in here are various bits of gear and equipment that would have been taken from the characters and also other crawlers. So 6 is basically a junk pile to the servitors, littered around this chamber. Is lots of mundane gear, a few choice pieces are still in reasonable condition, because we want them to get hold of some items to start making them sort of equipped. You know, they've got to deal with these initial larvae unless they go into 6 and pick up some of the items within there, maybe discovering them to get items before the larvae can emerge, and then perhaps forming some kind of bottleneck. Could be useful. But I do like the idea of, I don't like the idea of sort of bottlenecking this area. So what we can say is that this room also has tubules and cocoons in. So they can emerge from here as well. This room. Tubules. Which is absolutely fine. And then once they've geared up and dealt with the lava here, once they've kitted up, they will have completed this area, and 7 is basically a kiting slope. And we'll disorientate them a bit. They don't know what level they are on, so we will say leading down to disorientate them. The idea really is to do 6 areas in each of the levels. So this is sort of area 1 of 6 in level 6. And we've got area 2, area 3, area 4, area 5, and area 6. And one of these will sort of lead up to the next level, which will be level 5, and again there'll be 6 sort of areas. So we've got a nice starting point now. I think some very nice role playing in the first encounter where they introduce themselves, the need to work together to create light and to break out of this prison cell, to discover words of warning and gather other items that might be useful to them. Bearing in mind gear slots in Shadowdark, they'll be swapping in and out of items left, right, and centre. Number 3, they can speak to an insane prisoner, perhaps giving them a little bit more information, perhaps misleading them. 4 is the hazard of the sort of partially dissolved floor that could cause one or more of them to go into the sort of acid gully. 5 is semi sort of combat, unless they are sort of clever enough or lucky enough to avoid it, with the larvae oozing out of the walls and the ceiling. 6 is where they can potentially fully gear up, getting them ready for the mega dungeon proper. And then 7 is a route that leads them down, potentially deeper, before they can start making their way up and out of the halls. So what I've also done here is I've made a second map for the players, and we've done line of sight here. So just to give you a look at what Fantasy Grounds can do. I don't know whether we've got any characters created. Let us quickly create a character. So let's just make a human. It doesn't really matter, we just want a token. We'll just say fighter. Again, doesn't really matter. None of these exist in Shadowdark. Abilities. Dice roll. There we go. Bump, bump, bump. And then acolyte, skill, acrobatics, religion, language. Should have done this before the stream. Starting gear. Commit, test, and save. Okay, so we have data. No, I don't want data. we just need a token really. Boom, boom. Let's just do that. That is okay, and that is our test character. Now if we put it onto the combat tracker, so I think we need to do it from here actually. There we go. Put it onto the combat tracker and put it into the party sheet. So we've got, and then what we can do is we can pop our character down upon the map here. So hopefully you can all see that. Now the lighting effects, this is why I wanted to show you the player map. What we can do is we can do that, and you can see now that that's literally what the players would see, total darkness. But we can apply lighting effects to the characters. So if we oops, we need to target. So you can now see what it's like with a candle. I'm just going to double check that you can see this in the stream, and when this character sort of moves around, there is a small amount of light that they can see, which is quite nice. And we can, if they manage to fashion, or if they've got a light spell, you can see that suddenly it becomes much better, and they can sort of just about see through the spurs there. And then if they manage to escape this map, they can sort of look around all of this, and the light does slowly but surely sort of follow them around, revealing the map. But it does mean that they've got issues with line of sight and what they can and can't see. So that has revealed basically the whole map with a character that has a light source. Without a light source, let's remove that. They've got a degree of memory there. I think if we delete the token, goes to that, and then if we can do the gems view, which is see this, pop this on here, and then do that again. And if you want to get rid of their memory of where they've been, you can take the token off and you can put the token back on, and suddenly it is pitch black again. I just wanted to show you that. So I'm making two versions of the map. This is technically like the GM's keyed map, and then the other one is actually for the virtual tabletop with the lighting effects. Shadowdark certainly leans into resource management and lighting effects, and none of the player characters have dark vision, so light is very, very important. So we've made a degree of progress again, I think. We've keyed up the map. We've got this first area, number 1 of 6 for the lowest level, level 6. We have now fleshed out each of those areas somewhat, and on top of that we've got some outstanding things to do here, which is create the chitin item. What is the warning that they will uncover in one of the empty cells? And the insane prisoner, a non-playing character, we need to flesh him out, give him a bit of a backstory, and decide how useful they will truly be with the players, whether they recruit him into their crawling crew or not. So then, I think this is where we're going to leave it. We are making progress, as you can see. I hope you're enjoying it all. We'll be doing part 4, hopefully tomorrow. So in the meantime, I want to wish you all a good day, and don't forget to keep those torches lit. Thank you very much, everybody. Stay safe till next time.